Hello YouTubers, you're watching Crafts at Home with Lisa. I'm Lisa and today I am releasing a video and we're going to have a go with this Super Sculpey. I have never ever used Sculpey before. I'm a big Fimo clay person, but I did a lot of research and I'm told, or I read on the internet, that you can use this Super Sculpy SF Firm, which is what this one is. So it's going to be quite hard to use. It's going to be quite sort of tough. Oven baked still, which is great. But the reason I want to do this is because I want to cut and mould some bricks, and I want to try and put them in my husband's fish tank. Now we've got a little fish tank to try it out on first. We've got some precious little fishes in there. Been in the family for a long time, so I'm hoping that everything will be okay. But what I should do is take them out and put them into a different tank to start with, and then just keep checking the water. And then after about a month I'll put a part 2 on of this one and just let you know how we got on, because providing there's no spikes in the water or the water doesn't change over a course of a week to 2 weeks, we'll pop the fish back in and just see how we get on with this. And what I'll do is, it'll be a very quick video, but I will put it on part 2. I will fish it out of the water and we'll just have a look at it and see what's going on with it. But I've read this is the one to use in fish tank. Now, I'm not saying to you go out and buy the Sculpey Super Sculpy Firm to use in your fish tank, because I have no idea what will happen. It is down to you. It is up to you if you use it, the same as it is with me. There is no hard evidence that it can be used in the fish tank, but there is also no hard evidence that it can't be. So do use it by all means, but at your own peril. It is not down to me to say to you yes or no. It is down to you to make your own choice. I just want to make that clear, because I will not be held accountable for any fish that die. Okay, so I'm just going to pop you on hold for a second so I can plug in my lead, because it's about to die. Bear with me. Hi, right, sorry about that. So, let's open this up then and see what we've got. Okay. I'm going to use my blade, it'll probably be a bit easier. Right, now because this is oven bake, I'm not overly worried about it being left open to the elements, because obviously it doesn't dry in the warmer condition, or the air as such. Okay, so I'm going to cut off a slither. Oh, goodness me, it is firm, very firm. Feels kind of rubbery. Feels kind of weird to use. I forget, because you look at it and it's the same colour as normal air dry clay, you forget that actually it's not. It's a polymer clay. Okay, so I'm just going to try taking a very thin layer of it and just seeing what happens when it warms up, because that's quite a large piece and I might be there a while. So what my thoughts are is I would like to make a little bit of a cave with bricks and see how that goes. That actually feels not too bad. It is quite firm, I'm not going to lie, but it's not so firm you can't use it. Okay, so my thoughts are to make it into the brick shape. I'm going to roll it to start with, like so. I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit so you can see a little bit closer up. Oh, wrong way. Okay, so I want them fairly sort of large, but I don't want them so large that they look silly. Okay, so this is the sort of thing I'm thinking, sort of quite squatty, not unified. I don't want it all smooth, because that's not how bricks are, certainly not how Cotswold stone bricks are and things like that, which I quite like. So I'm just going to roll it to make sure it is flat, because otherwise you won't be able to roll and put one on top of the other. So My theory is now I'm going to build up one each side, or pile each side, and then maybe bring it in just a little bit each time and then join it in the middle. Or I might put like a roof over the top like that. I'm just going to see how we get on and see how it goes. So it's probably going to be easier to make one big long sausage. I don't want it, because it's quite a firm one, it'll probably go through my pasta machine. But rather than put it through that, I just wanted to show you what it was like without using the pasta machine, because not everybody uses them. So, obviously taking great care when you're using a blade. Right, so I'm going to put a couple of pieces together and then leave a couple of pieces over there to do an all. So I'm going to do different sizes, different lengths, and then fit them all together afterwards. Okay. Sorry I haven't released any other films, guys. I'm doing one a week. That way I'm really sort of concentrate on which one I'm going to bring back to you and make, you know, what we're going to do. I think one of the next ones I'm going to do is my polymer clay gnomes. I think I'm going to have a go at making some Mexicans next, which I think will look absolutely great. So, right, so I'm just going to roll that out into a long sausage. I don't know, yeah, I'm going to roll it off on my side, so it doesn't, although no, I will stick to it on here. Right, okay. So I think that's long enough. Like so. Now obviously if you use chemicals and things like that, do be careful folks, because if it's going in a fish tank, you don't want it really having any form of chemical on it. And then I'm just going to cut it roughly the same. So I'm just going to cut it a little bit longer, because you saw how I squidged that one up, which is what gives it its shape. And there's a hair on it now, look. Occupational hazard in our house, 2 cats and a dog. Okay, there we go. So again, cut it longer because I like the squishy up look. And again, I'm not worried if they're not all the same size. So some can be fatter and thinner than others, and then when it comes to building them up, it's just a case of having to sort through them. So just squeeze, and then you're just going to make it flattish, like so. Now I'm going to build this up before it goes in the oven, while it's still sticky. See, now we've got 2. And you can sort of figure out which way round you want to put it and whatnot, because I really want it to sort of look like a proper wall. See how that sort of sticks together very easily. So far folks, I'm really liking this Sculpey clay. I'm very impressed. I'll put a piece of black on there, look. I really am liking it. So you can cut them how you would like to. You can do them unified. You can do flat ones. You can do whichever size you want. This is entirely up to you again. I like to do videos where you make your own choices for what you like, because you may not like something that I do and you might change it, which is fine. But please do be aware, you must take responsibility. If you want to have a go at it, it is not my responsibility if something happens to your fish. I am doing an experiment with mine, but that doesn't mean that my tank is the same as yours. So you will need to look into it yourself. I think I'm quite happy. I'm going to have a little go and I'll take responsibility for it myself, and have a little go and see what happens. Like I say, we've got an empty tank. We're just going to do a monitor the water to start with, and see what happens. And then if all goes well, we'll pop a couple of fish in there, or a fish, well probably a couple because they don't like being on their own. And just doubly make sure that everything is fine and dandy. Keep monitoring the water, that's what we're going to do. I mean, if you decide you want to do this, yeah, you do it in your own way, that's absolutely fine. And then in a month's time, maybe sort of 6 weeks, I will put a video on and let you know what's happened to our tank and what's going on with it, and whether I found it safe to use or not. But judging by what I found on the internet, nobody will say it is, but nobody will say it's not. And I think, as far as I can tell, some people have actually used it in their tank with good results. So a lot of people write down that any polymer clay would work, but the Super Sculpey seems to be the one that keeps popping up name-wise. So I thought I'd go with ones that they're sort of talking about first, and then we'll see what sort of happens. And check my water spiking and that, and if there's anything that's sort of funny going on, then I shall know about it. My husband's very good at doing water calculations and whatnot. Oh, see, it's quite sticky. It's good stuff. It seems to be good stuff. That one seems a bit short or fat. It's a nice short dumpy one. So please always read what it says on the label. Never assume that all will be okay. Do check it out yourself. There's a lot on the fish forums, which we're obviously members of, because we do keep tropical fish. A small tank and quite a large tank. So I'm just softening this one up, and then we're going to roll this one out. It cracks quite easily, but it covers very easily as well, look. I think for sculpting, I think this is pretty good. So far I'm really impressed with it. And I think as far as like my gnomes and that, I think this could be quite a good one to put inside. It wasn't the cheapest, I'm not going to lie to you. But it's quite a large bar that you get. It is, this is grey, that comes in white and whatnot. 454 grams. I think that was £12 or £13. So it isn't very cheap, but to be honest, if as long as it does what it says, then I'm quite happy with that. Because my husband wants me to make him a bridge as well, so that's going to be something that we'll probably look at doing at some point. Or we won't, I will. Right, weather can't decide what it's doing today. We've had snow and sleet, and now we've got sunshine. And we've had rain. It's a bit of a mix mash today. Okay, there we go. So quite literally, all I'm going to do, folks, is just sit here and make bricks until the bricks come out my ears. And then what I'll do is I will come back. No, just get rid of that piece there. I don't know what colour that is. I will come back to you when I feel like I've got enough bricks, and we can make the actual cave. So I will speak to you very soon. Right, hi YouTubers. Right, so I've been rather busy girl. I've got quite a few bricks I've done here. I've only used just over half, I would say, of the entire block, which I think is very good. I was a bit concerned I was going to use it all. Then I sat here thinking, well, how could I sort of make it a little bit more look, let me turn that light off, look a little bit more authentic. So I thought, right, I'll dig out some moulds. These are just plastic moulds. I've got a pack of 3 of them, the other one's just like little circles on there. These were off of Amazon for about £3, very cheap, very cheerful, but they do the job. They're hard. So I dug the wood one out and thought this one would be great if you were going to do a log or anything like that to put in there. Or log, you could build like a log cabin or something like that. But I used this one today. It's my brick. Now all I did was, let me zoom you in just a little bit. Move it up. Okay, was got my piece of, my rectangular piece. And literally just sort of put it somewhere on here. Now if you look on here, you've got deeper bits and you've got finer bits, if you can see, if I hold that up there, look. So you got sort of thick, like, so these are like deeper here than they are, say, over here. If you can see, they're quite shallow. So I went with the deeper part in the middle and literally rolled it, pushed it, rolled it, pushed it. And then when it came to the other side, because I didn't want to push the pattern off, I just squeezed the ends, like so. Squeezed it onto there. And then in between the brick marks, just pushed it down. And then I thought, well, if you can see the end whilst I'm baking it, it just looks a bit plain. So then I did the same. But this time I wobbled it because I didn't want to put too much pressure on it. I wanted it to kind of just take shape without losing the other end. So it's quite difficult, but that's pretty much, that's pretty much what we've got. Okay, so I'm just going to show you that once more with my last brick that I haven't done. So I go for the deeper side, it's a little, not quite so shallow, and then roll it, twist it, well, try and keep it straight if you can in accordance to the lines, otherwise it won't look quite correct. But I suppose there's no right and wrong way of doing this bit. This bit's just very easy, it's just a fun way. If you've got a large piece like that on the end there, if you can see that piece there, I'm not happy with that, so just go back and just redo it. Just gently pushing it on. Okay, and I've got one more side, which I'm going to put there. I mean, each time you do it, you don't have to roll it. You can literally pull it off and pick which area you want to put it on. But that works really well for me. And then when I come to putting them together, I should just pick the best sides that I like. Now, like I said earlier on, I am going to put them on before I cook them. A, because I want them to stick together. And B, because if there's one that I need to just slightly change the shape of to get it to fit really well, then that'll be easier to do. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to one side. So if I get, there we go, this one here. So I've got all my pieces over here. If I just show you this, they're all on here, look, and to the side. I'll just move it back a little bit. Okay. I don't know whether it's better with the light on or without it. Let's try it again with. Let's try it. Let's leave it with and see what happens. Right. Okay. So this I'm going to do. I'm going to make it so that it's a piece of scrap paper here, look, with some measurements for another job. If I just show you what sort of thing I'm looking at doing. I don't want a back on mine because I want them to be able to go straight through. So that pretty much is the shape I'm going for. So it's straight through, no back on it or anything like that. Okay, so let's have a go then. So the width I wanted was roughly a cocktail stick for me. Okay. And then I thought if I had a cocktail stick's length, or thereabouts, if I was to snip, let me take the points off. Oh dear, that was a bit tough. Okay, and then it'll just give you a better idea, because I didn't really want to use, I don't want to make a very big one. A lot of my bottom feeders, which we've got a common plate which we're going to pop in there. After, we'll give it sort of, like I said earlier, 2 or 3 weeks and see how the water sort of levels do. And then as long as everything is absolutely fine like it is now, then we'll pop them in there. But I will let you know in the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks. So no wider than that. So it's going to be about a brick's width. And it's going to be about that far apart. So I'm just going to do a little one because I might be able to get 2 out of it yet. So if we measure it against that, I'm just going to start just popping bricks together. Now you want to try and marry up size-wise and push them together, not too hard, but I do want it to stick. So I'm just going to, on the inside, because you won't see that anyway, just sort of blend it in there. Okay, like so. I'm going to find another one for the other side. Again, just gently push them together and then blend. Once they're cooked in the oven, they should just stick together anyway. So just make sure that both are the same size. I reckon so. That looks good to me. And then the inside bit there, I just want it about that sort of shape, that sort of size. So that's a good measurement for me. Now, I'm going to, each time I put a brick on, I'm going to bring it in slightly. So just slightly, just in each time. And then what will end up happening is it will come in together. And then we should be able to put a row of bricks on the top. So try and marry up size-wise, like I said. Push together firmly and then blend. Try to stay away from the edge on the outside edge, just a little bit, because if you're moving it in slightly each time, what will end up happening is you'll end up seeing it. So, like so. So I know now I can move that out the way, and that is where we need to be. Okay, so I'm going to just literally move it in slightly, if you can see that. I like the shapes of the brick on the outside. So just remember to check what's going on shape wise. This isn't going to be a sort of a 5-minute job. It's going to be quite a slow process, because I don't want to end up with something that's going to be all mismatched shapes and all over the place. It's going to be mismatched shapes. That's actually a bit of a... I do want a bit of a mismatched shape, but I don't want it so it's about to fall down. So try and keep it... I mean, if it's going to get a little bit wibbly, don't panic too much about that, because when you join it in the middle, it will harden it like... Oh, my husband's cutting wood, I do apologise. It will sturdy itself up, okay? I think I'm going to have entirely too many bricks here. So again, I'm just going to look and pull it inwards. So it's kind of, this side is the one that you want to concentrate on sticking it down on. And then that one there. And then blend. I think he's using a screwdriver. We've got a patch in our garden where our granddaughter keeps falling down a small step. But he's just removing it at the moment. Now I can already see that I think what I'm going to do is put a solid top on that. So see, I've never done this before either, so never done this before, so it's all a bit of a learning game for me as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to put a back on mine. Change of plan. These are great ideas, change of plans. So I'm just going to mould these in on the inside. And because I've left them wet, if you like, they now bend to the shape I want them to. So I'm just going to push those two together. Okay. Oh. And like I say, this will toughen up when it goes in the oven. Like so. And I think I'm going to pop some on the very ends. Just on the end there. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely much more of a better shape, I think. Because of the way I've done the bricks. I mean, you might like a 3-1, and that is, in all honesty, what I was going for. But that is definitely not what is going to happen. Like I say, it's the first time I've used this clay, and I want to make sure that I get it right, because it's going in my husband's tank. He's the big, I mean, we both like fish, but the tank is ultimately his, and I don't want to let him down, so with something that I don't like. Okay, so that looks better as far as I'm concerned. Oh, it keeps coming off there. Like that. Now when you put the next layer on, something I didn't mention before, don't put one piece over the top where the joins are. Keep the joins separate. So I know there was a join there, so I'm going to put a brick. Oh, I like that one. I'm going to put a brick there, straight over the top of it, so it moulds it kind of together. And then this is one of the ones I used just now, because it's a big double brick. If you wanted to use longer bricks, you could do, or entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. And so I'm just going to bend that one round. I'm just sort of sweeping it down on the inside so it's kind of somewhat stuck. Sort of moulded together in some way. Doesn't have to be mega moulded. Ooh, I like that, mega moulded. Just as when you like. You could always, if you wanted to, put a piece on the inside, if that's what you wanted. Okay, so I know I've got a join there and a join there now. So if I put that one there, I'm just going to bend it. Now, when you're playing with this, it's actually a lovely soft clay, I'm not going to lie. And it's great, but as you use it, it does get softer, which is really nice. But when it goes hard again, it really does go hard. It's a bit of a nightmare to move. Right, so I know I need to push that one down. Again, I'm not too worried about the pattern on the top, because that's going to be underneath the next layer. So I'm going to just mould it gently and very carefully, because I don't want to take the pattern off. There we go. And then you've got to try and sort of, you can add bits if you need to, just sort of plain pieces of clay with no marks on at all. So on the outside there, look, it's got a bit of a bigger gap than I would like. So always check from all angles, because you may not be happy like I'm not with that bit there. So that's okay. I'm going to put my next piece on. What I would probably suggest is that you do it in pieces. The larger pieces are very difficult to move without losing any of the pattern on them. So try and stick to the smaller pieces if you can, and see if you can sort of bend them around a little bit. You could, if you wanted to afterwards, just run the mould up and down the outside if you wanted to. I'm not going to worry too much, because this is my first sort of attempt at doing anything for the fish tank, so I'm not expecting it's not been the easiest thing. I thought it would be very easy. I've made things like wishing wows and things like that out of fondant, and I thought this would be quite easy to do, but it's not as easy as it would look. It's quite difficult to keep everything together. So it's just a case of just keep moving them about to where you want them. Blend in those blocks. Move it about. Have a look on all sides, all angles. You can add a piece of clay if you need to, or take a piece out, or it really is entirely up to you. It's like cementing. Like I'm going to put a piece in there, maybe a piece in there. But then I like the old look, like it's kind of falling apart. Or you could, with a cocktail stick, or a pointer tool or anything like that, you could go along afterwards and you could just put the marks back in again. Look, very simply, very easy. So like so. And just sort of run them around. It just puts it back into the clay so it looks like it's meant to, or whether you sort of got the marks from in the first place. Like so. It's a very, very lovely, I'm not going to lie, it's really nice clay to use. It's very, you get the feel that it's very stern, but at the same time, it's, once it goes cold, and you stop sort of messing with it, it goes hard again, which is great. I guess that's what it means when it says Sculpey Firm. Super Sculpy Firm, I think it was. But I will put the details in the post underneath. But then, okay, so that's how we're going, and I quite like the way we're going. I'm just going to push those ones in. And then I can go along afterwards if I want to, which I probably will. And just put the marks back in, like so. Oh, have you been off camera all that time? I do apologise. So that's what we've got from the outside. It's not too bad, it's looking pretty good. I'm really pleased with it so far. And that's what we've got from the inside. But don't forget, that's not, nobody's going to be able to see it really from the inside because we're going to put a top on. Right, so I'm going to carry on with this. And I will meet you back here when I've got it to the height that I want. And we'll take a look at doing the lid, the roof. Okay, speak to you in a minute.